Monday of the 2018 American Folk Festival. Welcome to the festival, the Bangor Waterfront. My name is Tracy Willett. I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation here for the City of Bangor. And I especially want to welcome you to Bangor and the waterfront. We take great pride in the variety of activities we're able to offer. The festival is certainly a huge part of that. Again, thank you for coming this afternoon on day 3. Many sponsors here for the Folk Festival. All these sponsors make it possible for everyone to come and enjoy the event for free. You folks sitting here in the stage in the Penobscot tent in front of us and on the waterfront. Some of those sponsors include the City of Bangor, the Bangor Daily News, and Chevrolet, making big help to make the Folk Festival come here. Also, Bangor Savings Bank, who, as you can see, is moving in behind us. Sea Dog Brewing Company and Cocoa Bottlers of Northern New England, among the many sponsors that make the Folk Festival a yearly attraction, both here locally, statewide, and throughout the region. At this time, I'm going to introduce to you, the gentleman's going to present the first act here on the Penobscot stage this afternoon. So I'm going to take this mic and give it to Mr. Smokey McKean, who will introduce the first act today. Enjoy your day, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tracy, and welcome, folks, to the Penobscot stage and our workshop, discussion, demonstration, jam session, whatever we're going to call it. The topic is songs of love and trouble. Some of whom on stage find that topic troubling.
And others love
really.
it.
We've been kind of kicking this around here for a couple of days, and one question came up was what songs aren't about either love or trouble, or what songs aren't about love or the trouble with love. That would be another way to look at it. I like to, one of the things I'd like to talk about with this distinguished group of singers is what inspires them to sing any one particular song. Because if we've already come to the conclusion that all songs are about either love or trouble, then we're going to talk about any song that we might want to sing and why we choose to sing a song such as that. I'd also be interested in hearing from them what other singers have inspired them, where they find their songs, that kind of thing. So we're going to try to explore some of those topics and hopefully hear I think we have enough time to get at least a couple of songs out of everybody. So let me introduce everybody, and then we'll go back and talk individually and sing individually. So to my far right and your left is Miss Anika Chambers.
Annika.
I did it wrong again, and she's accompanied by Joe Connors on the guitar. And if you haven't had a chance to hear Anika sing this weekend, she's a wonderful blues singer, and she hails from the great state of Texas. Yeah. Texas and Maine, Anika, I don't know if you've ever noticed in songs, but there's a great number of songs that use Texas and Maine as kind of a range of places in the United States. I can think of 3 or 4 different songs that say, you got Maine on the one hand and Texas. The song about John Henry, some say he was born in Texas, some say he was born in Maine. And there's 3 or 4 other songs I've come across over the years. Being from Maine myself, I have an interest in that. But Texas is the dichotomy to Maine for some reason. So it's good to have you here.
It's far, far away.
That's part of it, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of the country that's not between Texas and Maine. But maybe that goes back to the days when most of the country was between Texas and Maine. I don't know. Anyway, to their left, Johnny and Jeanette Williams from Danville, Virginia. And center stage, hailing from the great city of New Orleans, Erika Lewis and Max Kahn. actually well represented from Texas today because, I think you told me, Wayne, you're from Texas and Oklahoma, but that's...
No, I'm from Texas.
You're from Texas. The band's from Oklahoma. I see. All right, good. So Wayne the Train Hancock from the great state of Texas. And originally from Dublin, Ireland, but more currently from Chicago, Illinois, Pat Brothers. So we've got quite a mix of vocal styles and song styles, and we're going to see some contrasts, but hopefully we'll see some similarities, and maybe explore those towards the end of the set. Why don't we start, Pat, since I've got you you're my right-hand man here, so I'm going to ask you to kick things off. Earlier on, when I was presented with the topic of songs of love and trouble, and I saw Pat's name on the list, I thought, well, he's a guy from Ireland, and obviously, I'm not going to say it's a troubled place, but the Troubles was something that was talked about in Ireland for many, many years. And I asked Pat if he had any songs like that, and he said he stopped singing them about 25 years ago. And I don't blame him. But there are a lot of songs from Ireland about leaving Ireland. Of course, the Irish have contributed greatly to our country and been a big part of places like Boston and New York and Philadelphia and Chicago, and have brought the wonderful Irish music to the United States. We were talking the other day about Chief O'Neill, who was the police chief in Chicago, Illinois, back in the early part of the 20th century. And he wrote the Bible of Irish fiddle tunes. He collected tunes from all the policemen that he hired and who worked alongside him on the Chicago police force, the Irish police force in Chicago. And anyway, Chicago is a mainstay of the Irish traditional music scene in America. But the Irish people left Ireland in droves in the 1840s, 50s, 60s. Half of my family came from County Sligo, the Curran side of the family, and came to Quebec and migrated down into Maine and Vermont many years ago. Pat, how do you go about finding a good song?
Well, I
or
mean,
a bad song?
Yeah, I suppose that you start with in my case, I was lucky enough to grow up around a lot of singers and musicians that used to come to my house. So, and then I'd easy access to those people too, because there were a lot of them, people who were from the country areas in Ireland moved to Dublin because of economic reasons, work more or less. And so there was always like there's singers clubs, there's sessions, there was all these sort of things going on. After that, I suppose, records, and after that, you start sort of dredging old collections or something like that.
Your dad was a singer.
Yeah, he was.
So there was music in the house growing up.
All the time, yeah. All the time, yeah.
Did he sing in an older style? Did he sing unaccompanied?
It depends on which whiskey you drink.
When he was in the Powells.
Yeah. It was very, very fluid.
No, there's I've always been interested in the similarities between the traditional singing style that was popular here in Maine and Atlantic Canada back, a while back, largely because of the Irish immigration to Maine and Canada. The unaccompanied style of ballad singing.
Sean Oates, they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a unique style of singing, I suppose you call it. Some people, there was somebody related or compared it to the Middle Eastern type of singing too, the call to prayer in the Muslim religion. If you listen to that stuff, I think there's a real similarity there. So, but yeah, I mean, they brought it with them and they spread it around, as they say.
One of the things that I've always been struck by that style of singing, and of course you can correct me if you don't agree, I'm sure you will, but...
Okay. You're wrong.
I know you well enough. And that is that in that old style of ballad singing, Irish singing, Northeastern United States singing, the singer oftentimes lets the song give the emotional element to the story rather than the singer gives the emotion. You let the song tell the story, you let the song give the emotion. You sing it in a kind of a straight ahead fashion.
Yeah, there is that aspect to it. Yeah, I mean, the singer definitely does add his own feel or personality to a song, I think. A great singer collector in Dublin, Frank Hart, who I got a lot of songs, and many people got a lot of songs off Frank, said that you always try and make a song your own. You know, so in that respect, you try and connect to it and have a personal connection with the song rather than just singing it for the sake of singing it because somebody wants you to sing it, sort of thing. So that's why I don't sing those other songs that we talked about earlier.
How about a song you do like to sing? Give us a.
All right, I'll sing a song. It's a relatively new song, I suppose, in the great scheme of things. It was written by Dominic Bean, who was Brendan Bean's brother, and it's a song called "Building Up and Tearing England Down." And it may sound like a rebel type song. It's actually not. It's about the navvies and the people who left Ireland to work in England, especially after World War II, to build it up. And it was pretty rough treatment they got. And he I think he captured the whole thing in this song. I think he did anyway. So and he's dead, so he can't argue the point. But I'll see you there. I've won a hero's name with McAlpine and Costain, with Fitzpatrick, Murphy, Ash and with his gang. I've been often on the road, on me way to draw the dough, when there's nothing left to do for Johnny Lang. I used to think that God made the mixer picking hot, so that Paddy might know hell above the ground. I've had gangers big and tough tell me tear it all out rough when you're building up and tearing England down. In a tunnel underground, a young Limerick man was found. He was built into the new Victoria line. When the bonus gang had passed, digging through the concrete cast, was the face of little Charlie Joe Devine. Well, the ganger man McGurk, well, Big Paddy ain't the work, when a gas main burst and he flew off the ground. He said, don't slack, I'll not be here until I'm back, when you're building up and tearing England down. I was on the hydro dam the day that Jack McCann got the better of his stammer in the week. He fell from that shut-up jam, and that poor old stuttered man, he was never ever more inclined to speak. I saw balls McCall from the big flyover fall into a concrete mixer spinning round. Now it was not his intent, he got a fine head of cement. He was building up and tearing England down. I remember Carrier Jack with his hat upon his back, though we never saw his face around again. Well, we never saw his face till his shovel it put clean through the middle of a big high-tension wire. No more like Robin Hood will he roam through Cricklewood or dance around the pubs in Camden Town. I would let no man complain, sure no Pat can die in vain when he's building up and tearing England down. So come all you navvies bold who think that English gold is just waiting to be taken from each side, or the likes of you and me could ever get an OBE or a knighthood for good service to the Hall. They've the concrete master race to keep you in your place, and a ganger man to kick you to you ever try to take part of what the bosses make when you're building up and tearing England down? If you ever try to take part of what the bosses make when you're building up and tearing England down.
Thank you, Zach. That's quite a song. That's real nice, yeah. Dominic Bean. Mr. Hancock.
Yes.
How you doing, bud? Have you guys had a chance to hear Wayne sing at the festival? Oh, this is, Wayne's a little out of his element. He's used to being in places where there's chicken wire in front of the stage and people are throwing bottles at him. So, you know, if you've got any glass and you want to make them feel at home.
Throw it at him.
No, it's great to have Wayne here with us today. Wayne does a lot of songwriting, so a lot of the songs you sing are your own, but you also sing some of the old classics.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not singing one of your own, what kind of a song is one that speaks to you?
I like a lot of them old Bob Wills songs,
Yeah.
blues songs, stuff like that.
Yeah. Great. Is there one that you'd sing for us? Old Bob Wills number? Can't be beat.
Them songs I do, everybody already knows.
What's that?
And all them songs I do, everybody already knows them. I'll sing it anyway.
That's all right. Yeah.
I always like singing Sunday. I don't want to talk about this, but
It's afternoon. No, it's okay.
it's afternoon. Church is let out. Well, I always figured that every good song is written because either you're trying to get laid or you can't get laid. Pretty much, put it in friendly terms, so to speak. So I like the Milk Cow Blues. I'm divorced. So I'll just do that song. See, he did a good song, and I got to do the Milk Cow Blues.
Well, you know, we want to have a good balance here today.
Well, I woke up this morning, looked outdoors. I can't see my milk cow, can tell by the way she glows. If you see my milk cow, please drive her on home. Lord, I ain't had no milk and butter, whoa, since my gal's been gone. Well, you got to treat me right on a day by day. Get out your little prayer book, get out on your knees and pray, 'cause you're gonna need my help someday. Yeah, you're gonna be sorry you treated me this way. Just skip the playing, I can't pick anyway.
Skip this song.
Well, good evening. Don't that sun look good going down? Well, good evening. Don't that sun look good going down? Don't your arms look lonely when your baby ain't around? I tried everything, good gal, to get along with you, and now I'm gonna tell you just what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stop my crying, gonna leave you alone. If you don't think I'm leaving, you can count the days I'm gone, 'cause you won't see me hang around here no more. It's probably because she owns the house, you see. In fact, you're gonna be wondering just where in the world that song. That wasn't just a Bob Wills song.
Yeah, no, that's a great song. I love that.
Blues song.
Even without the yodeling, you get that crack in your voice. It's a great sound. I love that. You can almost hear the glass breaking when he sings, right? Thanks, Wayne. Anybody had a chance to hear Tuba Skinny play this weekend? Tuba Skinny is such a great band. They met in New Orleans, I guess, and came from all different parts of the country and just fell in love with the city of New Orleans and the musical culture there. A great melting pot of American music and American culture. Erika leads the group with her vocals, I guess is what I want to say. The songs in New Orleans come from lots of different places, right? Let's explore that for a minute, Erika.
Yeah, it's a melting pot for sure. I mean, the musical culture was laid by, it was a port city, and it had all the slaves that were brought to New Orleans, I think, were the biggest influence on the musical culture there, and the blues. And I think it started from there, with people coming from all over the world, Spain, France, and a lot of influences. But
Caribbean too.
Yeah, the Caribbean islands, and something really magical and beautiful came out of all of that.
The repertoire of Tuba Skinny is. I was going to say this yesterday when I introduced you guys on stage. You guys are like not well. My father was a big fan of Dixieland jazz, and I was thinking, you guys aren't my father's brand of Dixieland. It's not just that. I mean, you guys go beyond Dixieland, and especially with the songs that you bring to the group, it adds a whole other dimension to me. Because the typical Dixieland band is usually just the instrumental stuff with maybe a vocal line here or there, and you bring the old blues songs and even sort of the jug band kind of repertoire too. Anyway.
Yeah, I think that Dixieland is referring to a smaller genre than we're looking at.
Yeah. You guys have a bigger, broader part of that music. So, how do you go about choosing a song?
I listen. It's funny. I don't really listen to a lot of recorded music in my life right now, and I've been lucky to be surrounded by so many musicians for so long. So I think that is the biggest inspiration, because people bring things that they're inspired by, and you get to hear them, and it sparks ideas in your own mind. But I think after Tuba Skinny became a thing, I started listening to more old recordings. I did grow up with a dad with a really good old record collection. I think that sparked a lot for me, with a lot of old blues records and jazz and country. And but yeah, I started listening to old. Bessie Smith was probably my #1 influence once I started singing, and then I just started looking for all the other ladies that were singing around the time that she was coming up, and there's just so many amazing lady singers out there. So yeah, that's.
All right. How about do you have a song of love or a song of trouble?
Both. Yeah, it's just all wrapped up in one. I was going to start with a Bessie Smith tune because she's the queen, but I thought I'd sing a song by a modern day blues man. He's a guy from Australia that I really like, and his name is C.W. Stone King. So I'm going to sing one of his songs, and it's called The Jailhouse Blues.
Okay.
Here until judgment day.
My baby got a high like a rock in the bottom of the sea. I got the jailhouse blues, and it ain't no lie. Lord, like I'm a dog, I broke the law. I got the jailhouse blues. They say a blind man don't see nothing when he dreams. There's many things I wish I'd never seen. I wish I'd never seen her asking why. When they come and take me, Lord, the way that she cried. Lord, 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 I got the jailhouse blues. I got the jailhouse blues, just as blue as I can be. My baby got a high like a rock in the bottom of the sea. I got the jailhouse blues, and it ain't no lie. Lord, like I'm a dog, I broke the law. I got the jailhouse blues.
That's great. That's a fairly contemporary song. Boy, it sure
It
doesn't,
is.
doesn't sound
Yeah,
it.
it is.
Especially the way you guys play it. And that's I mean that as a compliment.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. Thanks. Johnny and Jeanette, we're getting down to your side of the stage here. There's a couple of things. One thing I asked them before we went on stage was whether they might do something that was an unaccompanied style of singing, which is something that's both very, well, not common, but it's part of the tradition of Appalachian ballad singing, and it's also part of the Irish and part of the Maine and Atlantic Canada style of singing. Singing without instruments. In Maine, the old style was to play the fiddle tunes when you were playing a fiddle tune and then put the instruments down. If you're going to sing a song, you just sing the song. And that's one of the things I love about the Appalachian mountain music. Can you tell us a little more about that type of singing in your part of the country?
Yes, unaccompanied means acapella, yes.
I was in a daze.
Yeah, Johnny was zoned out there for a minute. No, my background is, Johnny actually taught me most of what I know about bluegrass music and Appalachian music. My background, I grew up listening to a bunch of different styles, always gospel and classic country and rock and blues and everything, and I love it all. But Johnny is my resident authority on the Appalachian style. So that's a big word, yeah.
That's the best she's ever described me. Yeah, I grew up in the mountains of Virginia, and back in the little churches, and back then they sang a lot without accompaniment, and most times because there wasn't nobody there that could play. Now it's a fact back then, that's changed now, but I'm kind of an oddity too. I was where I grew up. There's a lot of it's the capital of bluegrass and old time music now, but back then nobody in my family, as far back as we can go, ever played anything. So it was just what I would hear in church. But when we moved away, I was 10. We moved to Danville, Virginia, and when I was 18, I was actually a lead singer in a Motown band, which is don't fit, but I loved it. Otis Redding and James Brown and Wilson Pickett and Al Green did all that stuff long enough to ruin my voice. And then switched back over. So I didn't start playing bluegrass till I was like 37, and I was a late bloomer. But Ralph Stanley and of course Monroe and all the famous bluegrass pickers is kind of what. Don't try to copy anybody, but you can't help but hearing those sounds when you start singing and playing. It just filters in. So, and we do a lot of original music, but we try to be. If you want one unaccompanied.
I'd love to hear that, yeah, because we don't get to hear it as often anymore.
This is an old gospel song. Talk about suffering down here below, and let's keep loving Jesus. Talk about suffering down here below, and let's keep following Jesus. Oh, can't you hear it, Father? And don't you want to go and leave this world of sorrow and troubles here below? The gospel train is coming. Now don't you want to go and leave this world of sorrow and troubles here below? Talk about suffering down here below, and let's keep loving Jesus. Talk about suffering down here below, and let's keep following Jesus. Oh, can't you hear it, Mother? And don't you want to go and leave this world of sorrow and troubles here below? The gospel train is coming. Now don't you want to go and leave this world of sorrow and troubles here below?
For a Motown singer, that sounded like the real deal to me.
I'll tell you a funny story. One time this gentleman came up to Johnny and said, man, he said, you sound just like Ralph Stanley.
Yeah.
He said, I just can't believe how much you sound like Ralph Stanley. And this went on for, several minutes. And Johnny said, well, thank you. And
That's a big compliment.
yeah.
For sure.
And the guy turned around to walk off, and he muttered under his breath, I can't stand Ralph Stanley.
You knocked the blocks out from under a little bit.
What a compliment that is, huh? Sweet. Well, I love Ralph Stanley's singing, so that was great. Thank you. Thanks for honoring my request. Anika, we're finally getting down to you over there.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you feeling? How are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm good. Ready for round 3, 4, whatever round we are.
Whatever it is.
5, 10.
Yeah. So, I haven't had a chance to hear you sing. I had heard everybody else on stage here, but I hadn't gotten to hear you yesterday. So, I'm looking forward to it. How do you go about finding a song to put in your song chest?
If I'm writing a song, it's all about what I'm going through at the moment. So it could be about love, just same stuff, love, trouble. But if I'm picking a cover or something, it just has to be a song that resonates with me. And so I just have to feel it in my soul, and then I'll sing it to you. So.
Who are some of your singer mentors?
Well, I grew up listening to gospel. My grandparents didn't let me listen to anything but. So, young Aretha, Yolanda Adams, one of my favorite gospel singers out there from Houston, Shirley Caesar, Mahalia Jackson, all that, old blues singers. I'm old school, so. And then once I got older, I started listening to a lot of Bonnie Raitt and Etta and young blues Aretha. The 1960s Aretha is kind of my thing that I love. And Bessie Smith, one of my biggest influences too. So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's have a song.
I think we're gonna do some B.B. King for you.
Oh yeah.
The song is called Chains and Things, or Things. Let me be proper. Woke up this morning after another one of those crazy dreams. Nothing is going right. The whole world is wrong, it seems. I guess it's those chains that bind me. Just can't shake or lose these chains and things. Got to go to work this morning, but I don't really wanna go. I got a wrong doing me, and the sleep driving bus. I can't lose, no. Said I can't lose these chains and things. No. I guess it's those chains that bind me. Just can't shake and lose these chains and things. Can you play some blues for you? Go ahead. To be my middle name. All the odds are against me. I can only play the losing game. These chains that bind me just can't shake and lose these chains and things. I guess it's those chains that bind me. Just can't shake and lose these chains and things. Turn around, look. I guess it's those chains that bind me. Just can't shake or lose these chains and things.
Great. You even get the word trouble right in there too. So we've got mostly trouble in that last go round. Well, not you two, but so now we should look at love. We should look at love, Tat. What do you think? You got a love song?
The Irish are known for their romantic side, I suppose. It's another song I got from the singing of Frank Hart, who I mentioned before. And, he was, and you mentioned people coming over to Canada and stuff. So this sort of is about that. It's a song from the north of Ireland. And, great love song. Everybody sort of ends up happy in the end and nobody dies. I do sing a lot of love songs where somebody dies or many people die or something.
And they don't end up happy in the end.
The parents sort of get screwed in this, but like that's it.
Lovers all both great and small who dwell in Ireland. Have you paid attention and listened to my song? It was my father's anger what drove my love away, but I still have hopes we'll meet again in North America. Love was fair and handsome, to him I gave my heart, and little was our notion that we would ever part. It was in my father's garden where this flower it did decay, but I still have hopes it will bloom again in North America. I did not want for money, kind fortune on me shone. Out of my father's castle I stole £500. It was in the town of Belfast, my passage I did pay. My mind made up to follow my love into North America. The captain's wife was kind to me, as you might understand, and she kept me in her cabin until we reached dry land. It was in the town of Quebec where we landed on the quay, and I knew not where to find my love in all America. Sick and sore and tired, I went into an inn. It was there I spied my William, the lad I love within. I took him gently by the hand, and to him I did say, I never thought I'd see your face in all America. Now this couple have been wed, as you might understand, and I hear they live quite handsome in a town they call St. John's, and the money that she took from home in gold she's laid it down, and she thinks no more of Ireland nor Enniskillen town.
They end up in Newfoundland, so how could they not be happy? That's great. I love that song. Hey, Wayne. You got a love song?
I don't know.
Not so much.
I stay in trouble a lot.
Okay, that's all right.
You want me to
Outlaw country, you know.
Am I supposed to do a love song?
No. Do what you want. Give us another one.
mean, the first song was kind of like a love song.
Yeah,
You got to have it before you can lose it.
That's right. So go straight to the trouble this
I'll
time.
just go right to the trouble there. This song's kind of embarrassing because I wrote it when I was in jail. I'll probably never record this song, so I guess I can sing it here. I'll try it. Why don't you give me back my... Sarah, when you go to jail, they give you these little house slippers like you got on there. They're not that nice. They call them sliders. Sliders, they slide everywhere. When you go to county jail, I don't know about that big house business. I've only been to county jail. You go to county jail, they give you these sliders. They take your shoes from you. Oh, just to tell you what this is. I'm gonna give you back your sliders and take back my walking shoes. I'm getting away from the jailhouse in the Denton County low down blue. Well, I was going too much trailer. Getting kind of late. I'm doing 80 and a 60 on the north side of Loop 288. I saw a cop waiting when I came over the hill. But I was drinking in a honky tonk a little south of Louisville. Well, let me hand you back your sliders. I'll take back my walking shoes. I'm getting away from the jailhouse in the Denton County low down blue. Raising can on the highway. Well, that's what I love to do. Now I'm sitting with the sheriff on the Denton County low down blue. I never finished it because I ain't going back to jail.
Well, we're glad to hear it was just a 2-verse stay.
30 days.
Thanks, Lane. Oh, let's have another one, Erika. We're going to do less talking and more singing for the next few minutes. So.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I don't know a love song that's not also a trouble song. They go hand in hand.
We didn't say love or trouble. We said love and trouble.
Love and
so
trouble.
it's okay.
So yeah, I got love and trouble. But I'm gonna sing. One of my first loves in music was country music. So I'm gonna sing a country music song that we do play in Tuba Skinny because we do play a lot of different kinds of tunes together. And this is a song that I think was made famous by Hank Williams, written by a guy named Emmett Miller. Patsy Cline sang it. It's a tune called The Lovesick Blues. Got a feeling 'cause I'm blue, oh Lord, since my daddy said goodbye. Don't know what I'm gonna do. All I do is sit and cry, oh Lord, every day
great. Thank you. Great phrasing. I love the way you turn the phrase on the song. And Max, your guitar playing. I feel like winding up the Victrola and hearing it again. Great playing. Well, let's see. Love, is it love or trouble this time, Johnny?
Let her do the love, and I don't know what I'll do for you.
Well, if it's okay, we'll do something that's fairly new, written by Tim Stafford and Bobby Starnes. And we talked about the influence of gospel music. We've been talking about that, and this is a beautiful, beautiful gospel song that it talks about love and trouble, and how we are troubled here on this earth, but it's okay because either way, we're all going home someday. So either way, I'm going home. That's what this one is.
He lives in a foxhole halfway around the world. He thinks about his wife at home and their brand new baby girl. He talks to the Lord when it's quiet and he's alone, and he knows that someday, either way, he's going home. She lays in the darkness with no wave that doesn't hurt. Her family and her doctors are prepared for the worst, but she's not afraid, 'cause she's not alone, and she knows that someday, either way, she's going home. Home is where the heart is, no matter where we may roam. There's a mansion prepared, it's waiting for me there, and I know that someday, either way, I'm going home. Life sure is hard out there on the streets, and an old cardboard box, it ain't no place to sleep. But he has a plan, and her faith, it's strong, and she knows that someday, either way, she's going home. And he reads his Bible in a dimly lit cell. His life in prison, it's just shy of hell. But he's been forgiven for where he went wrong,
Johnny, I actually am a big fan of Ralph Stanley's singing, so I'd like to ask you to do another song too.
Well, I might do. It's not Ralph Stanley's song.
No, but
I'm sure Vern Gosdin was thinking about it when he did this little bit different type love song. This is kind of a love song for the men. We always sing songs for the ladies, but this one's for all the men. So get Jeanette to help me out a little bit here. I'm just thinking of
This is a love gone wrong song, I think. Kind of one of those.
There's a new clothes in the closet that I bought you. Here's the keys to the new car in the drive. Put on your best perfume when you walk out of the room. If you're gonna do me wrong, do it right. If the telephone rings, I won't answer. I don't wanna be the fool I was tonight. I don't wanna hear the truth. Don't wanna see the proof. If you're gonna do me wrong, do it right. If you're gonna break my heart all to pieces, then go ahead and do it here tonight. Take off your wedding band when he takes you by the hand. If you're gonna do me wrong, do it right. Take off your wedding band when he takes you by the hand. If you're gonna do me wrong, do it right. Oh, do it right.
thank you.
I'm about to make me catch the Holy Ghost up here.
I don't think Ralph did that one.
No, not probably. I do appreciate your singing. Thanks, Anika. You toured overseas in the army and sang.
Yeah, 2 tours, one in Iraq and one in Kosovo.
That's amazing. And that involves some singing.
Yeah, I sing a lot actually. I work too. I have my main job, but I got to in Iraq we had what's called the Morale and Welfare Committee, and I was the head of that. So I got to bring music and dance shows and all kind of different stuff to the troops. It was pretty cool to do that. And that was my last tour. I realized that I was meant to sing and travel around and do my music. I do miss the military, but I love what I do, so it's pretty cool to do that.
What is there a song that particularly spoke to the troops when you were entertaining there?
You know, when you're in that environment, music, just whatever you sing is fine. So I'd sing to them all the time, and I had other friends that sang too. So we just always just sang. It wasn't really a particular song, no.
Well, sing a particular song anyway.
Well, I have a love song actually that's on my record, Wild and Free. It's called Put the Sugar to Bed. And so I'm glad you put that tune in between the gospel tunes, because I don't feel too bad about singing this tune. But here it is. I'm a comedian at night too, so yeah. Come see us today. Yeah, Put the Sugar to Bed. Here we go. Oh, that's the old school ringtone. All right.
Is honey sweet, yeah. I can't deny what I feel. I can't believe that you're real. Do whatever you want with me. Said I know when love's wrong, I know when it's right. I need to feel your hands on me tonight, oh baby. It's time to put the sugar to bed. Ain't nothing left to be said. Now let's push it into the red. Then let's do it again. Let's get the sugar to bed. You know what? You had me with your smile. I've been watching you for a while, and I know you ain't no player. You would do what you say, and I could trust you with my heart. Honey, the feeling's too strong. I don't wanna take. Wanna be in your arms when the sun starts to set. Oh, baby, it's time to put the sugar to bed. Yes, it is. Ain't nothing left to be said. Now, let's push it into the red. Let's do it again. Let's put the sugar to bed. It's time to put the sugar to bed. Yes, it is. Ain't nothing left to be said. Now, let's push it into the red. And let's do it again. Let's put the sugar to bed. Now listen, babe. I'm gonna fight. Come on. For the love of my life, I'm gonna lie, but forever fire. I'm the woman who can blow your mind. Oh baby, this sugar's gonna take us higher and higher. Oh baby, you're giving it to me real, real good. It's time to put the sugar to bed. Yes, it is. Ain't nothing left to be said. Now, let's push it into the red. Let's do it again. Let's put the sugar to bed.
Anika, I'm sure you were a great soldier and we thank you for your service, but I think you chose the right career path.
You know, it's funny, one of my colonels, I told him, I said, I'm thinking about getting out. I want to sing. I really think I meant to sing. And he said, you know, normally we try and keep you in the service, of course, and but he said, I really think you can do this. And so it's cool now. He's now a general. He messaged me a couple of weeks ago for my birthday and said, I'm so glad we had that talk and we had it. And it's been like, I think 6-7 years now. So, and the music is just doing its thing. So it's such a blessing to be able to do what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
And
That's good. Thanks. That's good. Well, we don't have time to go around a whole nother round. We're closing down on the hour and quarter here, but we talked backstage about whether there was something might all join in on. And I'm not sure we came up with a consensus, but I think we can pull something off here, don't you? What?
That's something like Amazing Grace or I'll Fly Away, or would you like to lead something? Yeah. I would be honored if Anika would lead it and I could sing some harmony. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, try that. I think that might resonate down this end too.
Me and lyrics sometimes. It's early in the morning for me.
At least you said G chord there, folks. Everybody get a piece of it?
Yeah, just pull up the lyrics somewhere.
Looking at the words.
I was standing by my window on one cold and cloudy day when I saw that hearse come rolling for to carry my mother away with a circle beat unbroken by and by, oh by and by. There's a better woman waiting in the sky, oh, sit in the sky. I said to the undertaker, please drive slow, for this lady you are carrying. Lord, I hate to see you go with a circle be unbroken by and by, oh by and by. There's a better woman waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Somebody want a verse? be unbroken. By and by, Lord, oh, by and by, there's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, oh, in the sky. Well, I went home too, and my home was lonesome. I miss my mother, oh, she was gone. Yeah. All of my brothers, my sisters crying. What a home they are. It was sad and alone. Help us out. Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, by and by, there's a home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by, there's a letter on a lady in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Somebody say yeah. Somebody say yeah. We can have church on Sunday, Lord.
Nicely done, thank you. Anika Chambers, Joe Connors, Johnny Williams, Jeanette Williams, Erika Lewis, Max Kahn, Wayne the Train Hancock, and Pat Brothers. Thanks very much, folks.